Hi everyone, it's Myla here, and we have Marnie here to demonstrate on what I do around this age when it comes to home grooming. So some of the tools that I use when I'm grooming a young puppy, dog nail clipper, and I also like to use a Dremel. And this one I really like because it's not noisy. This is not going to work for adult dogs, however, because it's really tiny. But for young puppies like Marnie, this is great. After I trim their nails, I like to use the Dremel so their nails are not sharp. Comb, I also like to use a brush, so I will comb her out first, and then I will use the slicker brush just so I can go over her body and see if I miss any matting. I also have a couple of scissors. I have a blending scissor and also a curved scissor. I use the curved scissor to trim around the eyes, and when they start to grow a lot of hair around their face, I like to use the blending scissors just so the cuts are not really sharp. I also use my clippers. I use this around the hind area to make sure the hair there is not too long, because obviously you want it to keep that area clean for sanitary purposes. So Marnie had a bath and I haven't brushed her at all. So after giving her a bath, I will go ahead and comb her out and then brush. And then I will show you how I trim the face and the hind area. So you can just towel dry your puppy. Occasionally I will use my dryer, my dog dryer, because sometimes you're just in a rush and you wanted your puppy to be dry right away. But in this case, I didn't have to do that. So I have this grooming table. I really like having a grooming table because then I can control the puppy or dog so they will stay in place, and plus it won't hurt my back, and I will be able to comb them properly. But obviously if you don't have it at home, you can just use a table and just make sure that somebody is holding the puppy or your puppy's not going to jump off. So I usually comb against the grain because I wanted to loosen up all the matting. At this age, really, matting is not a big concern, but as your puppy grows, then the coat is going to start getting longer too. So you want to make sure that you are not missing anything and that there are no matting in there, because matting is not good for your puppy. It will irritate their skin. So I will do that. Hey Marnie. You're such a good pup, Marnie. So something that you have to remember, these are the areas that can get easily matted, is around their area. So you have to make sure that you comb it out really good, the tail, and also around the area where you have the collar. So you have to make sure that you comb it out, and also underneath the ears. So I will make sure that I comb out her legs, and it's just going against the grain right now. And you're wondering, how often should I be bathing my puppy? It really depends on your preference, but I really will not recommend bathing your puppy every week. I would say every 2 weeks if your puppy gets dirty, but you don't want to do it too often either. However, obviously you want to do this, the combing and the brushing, at least 2 to 3 times a week. This also helps for your puppy to get used to grooming, so when you go to the professional groomer, your puppy is used to it and it won't be a very scary experience. And so after going against the grain, I'll just go ahead and brush it out like so. And this actually helps the drying process too, combing them out. See how fluffy she's getting? She's a good girl. We'll also make sure that underneath her belly is combed out. So if I haven't combed it good, I'll do that now. Underneath the legs. Oh. And then when that's done, that's when I'm gonna go ahead and use my slicker brush. And obviously you don't want to comb really hard, just be gentle because it has, you know, a lot of bristles in there. You don't want to hurt your puppy. He's so fluffy. Okay, so the area that you wanted to trim using your clippers is the hind area. So for females, because there's a lot of hair here, you really want to go ahead and get it short, because when they pee, a lot of that urine can get in their coat and that can cause irritation and also possible UTI. So you want to keep it clean. So actually I have trimmed this last week already, but I use a comb attachment or a clipper attachment so that I don't cut too short. So I will just go over this part because you don't want no nasty stuff in there. It's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay. And obviously, if your puppy is getting scared, you would want to stop and make sure she's comfortable. And so you want to, let me show you. You really want to trim around this area for the females. So I will just trim a little bit. I already trimmed it last week, just like I said, so it's not that long. But you wanted to trim around there. If you don't have clippers, you can use scissors, but make sure you're careful because you don't want to accidentally cut your puppy. Now, for males, you want to, if you want to sit down, baby. Good girl, Marnie. For males, you want to trim around this area, so you just go up and trim around that area, because when they urinate, the pee will get up there on their coat. So you want to trim around that area. Now, I'm sure a lot of your puppies, Marnie will be 12 weeks next week. I have been regularly trimming around her eyes, but let me just show you. Hopefully you can see. But when the hair starts to grow, cover the eyes, I will trim around there using my curved scissors. So I will just comb it out to make sure I'm trimming it where it naturally lays. So basically the curved scissor will kind of cut in an angle, so a lot of that hair that's covering their eyes will be cut. So, and Marnie is a good girl because we have done this many times. So you just trim, trim, trim. Good girl, Marnie. Good girl. Yes, you know you're a good girl. And sometimes you will see it's not all the way straight, and that's not unusual because most pups will be moving so much, and most of the time when they're young, I can't really trim it properly. Sometimes they look, you know, not, or they will look uneven. So and just make sure you get all that hair that you cut away from their eyes. And then I'll do the other side. I will try to make it as even as possible. You're a good girl. Yes, yeah. good girl, Marnie. It's a good girl. That's a praise, huh, Marnie? There. So that really opens the eyes, and you can see her beautiful eyes after trimming. And then you can go back at another time when your puppy maybe is taking a nap if you can't get it even or cut at all. And then once this hair on the top part started to fall down and cover the eyes, that's when I'm going to use the blending scissors. And then I will just trim around. Right now her hair is still pretty short, but and I will just angle it so it doesn't cover her eyes. And that's about it.